Awful quick of, yeah, to do the gavel.
Why do you blame me?
All right, first item of business is roll call. Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
Alice Bauer,
Here.
Rob Brown,
Here.
Sam Stone.
Here.
All right, the first item of business was supposed to be a presentation from Sue Frost, our supervisor from the County Board of Supervisors. I understand she's running late today. I'll be here about 7:30, so we'll proceed without her. So before we get to public comments, we have another presentation that's not on the agenda from Garrett Fong from the Boy Scouts. So Garrett, if you want to come up to the podium and
Good evening. I'm Garrett Fong. I'm a Life Scout with the Troop 633 here in Rancho Murieta. I appreciate Greg Vorster. He invited me to come here to talk about my progress on my Eagle Scout project. So if some of you don't know, my Eagle Scout project was creating 4 permanent recycling bins to go at, it was Stonehouse, Riverview, and Lake Clementia. I have completed all 4 of the bins and have placed 2 up at Stonehouse. They consist of welded steel frames, an extruded composite lumber, and aluminum signs, and 2 coats of professional graffiti coat sealant. I started my project by getting approval from the Architectural Review Board, and then from there I started collecting funds for my project. I got a majority from the Kiwanis, and then from other individuals I gathered the rest of the donations, which kind of totaled it out to around $2,000. So it was pretty good that we got. I wanted to thank all the people who donated money to my project. The main cost was the plastic lumber, but I felt that it just had a nicer look and it would last a lot longer, and so they'll be able to maintain and keep the parks looking a lot nicer. Also, we had over 170 hours put into this project, and which consisted of myself and my 12-year-old brother. We welded all the metal frames, and then a group of scouts came over and we put all the boards onto the frames. So I would also like to formally thank here Mr. Ron Schaub and Mr. Aaron Vogt, who spent their time to help with the engineering and teaching us how to weld for this project. And Rod Hart and PJ for the assistance in actually placing the cans at the parks. We're gonna hopefully put the last 2 up as soon as possible. Thank you.
great, thanks. How did see? I get to play Boy Scout leader again since I haven't been a Boy Scout leader. What's the biggest thing you learned from the project? I'll put you on the spot here.
So the one thing I learned is to you got to plan ahead. I know sometimes it got to where we were up to the last minute. So since I know we have some other scouts here who are on their way to the Eagle, so plan ahead. I wasn't the best at it, but I eventually learned that. So yeah.
When did you start planning? When did you first come up with the idea and propose it?
The project's been it's been like a year and a half I've been working on it. A lot of the time it was kind of slow in the beginning, kind of collecting all those funds before we can place the order, but then it kind of went from there.
And what are you recycling? Aluminum, glass, plastic?
Yeah, so it's for the Kiwanis, their CRV program,
Okay.
so all the bottles, cans, and we would just like it to kind of stay that way, kind of encourage no trash or no other things, just because recycling is kind of important for the environment, and it's also very beneficial for the community too.
And then once it's in use, who collects the cans and?
That'll go back to the Kiwanis, they
Kiwanis
have
will do
someone
it.
who will go around and handle that.
What else do you have to do for Eagle? Is this it?
All the paperwork, yeah.
All the paperwork, there you go. That's
never
the
over
hardest
till the
part, let me tell you.
So you're gonna get your Eagle this summer?
Yeah, hopefully I will finish it this summer.
And is there any other Life Scouts that are here or close to getting it? You working on your Eagle?
Yeah, I'm just finishing up some Mary Beth right now.
Okay.
To do my project.
So I was just gonna make a comment that I went through Scouts and I got to Life Scout and I got involved in other things in school, sports, girls, that kind of thing. And I was kind of not going to get my Eagle. However, I had somebody pull me aside and say, hey, you really need to do this. And I went ahead and I finished. I was awarded the Eagle Scout, and every application, every resume, everything that I've ever done, and I have Eagle Scout on that, it's come back on me tenfold. People comment on it all the time. I know I've gotten job opportunities, I've gotten things because that's on my resume. So any of you that are out there, I congratulate you. And any of you that are out there that are thinking about it, I would say push for your Eagle. Push for your Eagle. It'll benefit you greatly.
And I would 100% support that as an Eagle Scout myself, so.
I have a question. Did you do some connections with maybe the local media or through your school, just to do some outreach and education to children in our community, maybe to understand the importance of recycling? Is there any connection that way with your project?
Not really. There's kind of been something that I was just kind of trying to help boost the Kiwanis already existing program, but yeah, that might be something to.
Something somebody else might pick up on?
That's another good project down the road, so you can build on. We've been fortunate, thanks Garrett, not only with Garrett, but numerous scouts, and there's a plaque, if you haven't noticed, there's a plaque back there of all the Eagle Scouts.
Right.
From Rancho Murieta, the
If
number
none
of
of you
them.
have seen it yet, I brought some photos if you want.
Yeah, that would be great. But number of scouts through the years have done Eagle projects that have benefited RMA.
Garrett, how old are you?
I just turned 16 in February.
Oh, very good, son. Okay, just between you and I, who's the better welder? Your brother or you? Come on, just you and I. Just tell me, okay? You don't have to, all right, never mind. Very good, very proud of it.
Yeah,
I like it.
congratulations.
Good job, son.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I guess we'll move forward then with public comments. The public shall have the opportunity to directly address the board on any item of interest. Public comments on items not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of the board are welcome.
Very cool.
Subject to reasonable time limitations for each speaker. If you wish to address the board at this time, please state your name and lot number and reserve your comments to no more than 3 minutes so that others may be allowed to speak. No action will be taken. Each item of business will be introduced by the president. Public comment for that item will be opened. The public will have the opportunity to speak on the item. Public comment for the item will then be closed. No additional public comment will be allowed. At that time, the board will discuss the item and then take action. Are there any public comments? Full house and no comments. Okay, hearing no comments, we'll move on to the consent calendar. Oh, you have a
Come
comment?
on up.
Come on up.
Come on up.
You need to come up to the podium and
Do you want us
speak.
to bring it to you, or, no, you have to come up? I'll hold Sam back. Well, we never mention that until you want to talk.
It's okay.
Is she leaving?
You can walk around.
Oh, okay, I thought she was leaving.
Just come on up here, come around this way. We record this, so you have to, that's the only way we get you on camera. Audio.
You have to get a little close to the microphone also, it's,
You got it, Sam? Yeah. Don't hit her in the forehead, don't.
So tell us your name and where you live. Or your lot number if you know it. But
My
if you
name
don't-
is Patsy Gardner, and I live on lot 54 at one of the townhomes. And I have a real concern with some ground that needs to be repaired. When I first moved here, I had to have a new sidewalk put in, and then there's a lot of dirt and weeds that are on that area. It's the common ground. I'm so nervous, I'm sorry.
Don't be.
But I think the main concern I have is that it's dangerous. It's quite a drop from the grass to the dirt to my sidewalk. And I'm afraid if someone comes to my house, to my front door, that if they step off the sidewalk, then they could get hurt really bad. Sue me and maybe you, I don't know. But that was my reason for being here tonight.
Okay, well, thanks. Is this a new condition? I mean, because of the rain, or is this something
No,
that's
it-
always existed out there, or?
The sidewalk was really, really bad when I bought the house. So I had it a new one put in, and there's
How long ago, Patsy?
It'll be a year
Or
next month.
Kathy, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but the dirt is still there. It's kind of got weeds in it now, but it looks, it's just dangerous because of the level of the grass, the dirt, and the sidewalk. And I'm really afraid that someone could come to my house, without realizing that, and step down or off from it.
All right, have you talked
So-
to maintenance about it at all? Or are
Yes.
they out there and aware of it and at least know
Yes.
what you're talking about? So,
Yes.
Rod's shaking his head, yes. So, I mean, that's half the battle. And you
Yeah.
getting up here, sometimes the squeaky wheel gets the grease, as they say. So maybe that.
Well, I know you guys are really busy, with all the rain and everything, but I would just like to maybe have a time frame and when something can be done about this, because I am concerned about the danger. I have,
Is this, and I'm not familiar with where Lot 54 is this common area that you're talking about? Okay.
yes. I'm at the end of a group of 3 townhomes.
Mhm. Okay.
And I just,
Are you right across the lake over here?
well, it's at the corner of Lago and Coretta Lane.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, well, I can't give you an answer on time frame or not. I'd suggest maybe after the meeting or some other time, talk to Rod or staff and get a better idea of what
Okay.
their plans are.
yeah, I
For
really
that,
do.
basically.
I really feel like this should be taken care of, before summer, and as soon as possible, actually.
All right,
But anyway, it's the safety concern I'm worried about. I have little great-grandsons, and they like to come over and play baseball on that corner, and I'm afraid if they get excited and run over to us because we're clapping for them or whatever, and maybe they fall,
sure,
into that bad area,
sure.
so.
You want to say something, Rod? there?
Yeah, well, I'd like to speak to it real briefly. We have had conversations, I've been out and looked at the issue, and as the board knows, we do the whole 2 times a year pruning around the townhouses. Typically, we don't go back in and do any landscapes, particularly to repair around a new sidewalk. We, talking with Paul, my foreman, which takes care of all the landscape around there, I guess has talked to you in regards to next time we do a sod project and we have some extra sod, we're more than happy to bring it over and roll it out in that area. It's the only reason why it hadn't been put on schedule, because it's not something we typically get involved with.
Is this a townhouse issue?
It is a townhouse landscape issue.
Have you addressed your board over at the townhouse?
No,
Pardon? Harmony, common, yes.
Oh, it's our common area?
it's the common area.
Okay.
So, and being in the common area, I just thought, it wasn't my responsibility to repair it, you know.
And I think
No, I
you're right.
appreciate it when it's our common area. That
Yeah, and I think what
Responsibility.
Rod's getting at is how the agreement is with MTI. We're only there a couple times a year. And so there are a lot of people, especially in townhomes, that don't like that. And we understand that, but that's the agreement and that's what we have. Hearing what Rod had to say, he knows it. He's got a game plan. The only thing we can't do is give you the time frame, quite honestly. I would say, Rod, it's back to you. If it's a safety issue, then let's just rope it or flag it off and do those things until we get the sod and move on. And if it's that big of a hazard, if not, then you're aware of it. And as soon as we can get a project going and it's that, then that moves up to the food chain. That would be my thought process, the best we could direct staff.
I agree.
One other thing that I'd just like to add is, not that you probably want to go to 2 different meetings, but I encourage you to come to maintenance committee too, so that you have a little more one-on-one time with the maintenance committee to sit down and have some dialogue about that. So you're not going to have to stand up there in front of this whole crowd for one. And that is always the first Monday of every month at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. I can
So,
do that.
yeah, I would encourage you to do that because they could sit down and really
Yeah.
discuss the issue in a forum, because that's really the committee that deals with all that versus us at the board level, you know. I mean, we're kind of
Okay,
limited. I mean, it may eventually percolate back up as part of the maintenance committee reporting to us. as
well,
to what
like I
happens.
said, it's the safety issue that I'm concerned
Sure.
about.
No, I understand that and I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
So, well, thank you for listening.
Well,
Thank
for
you.
bringing it up.
Comments?
Thank you.
Any other public comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the consent calendar. Consent calendar items are considered routine and will be approved by one motion. There will be no discussion of the items unless the director requests a specific item to be removed. Does any director wish an item to be removed?
No.
If not, do we have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Okay, Sam moves. We have a second.
I'll second it.
All right, and Cheryl seconds. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent calendar, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Sue's not here yet, is she? I haven't seen her yet. Okay, just making sure. Next item of business is the minutes. For board action is approval of the minutes of February 21, 2017. Do you have a motion to approve the minutes?
I so move.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the February 21, 2017 minutes. Any discussion?
It was a great meeting. I'm not sure why.
Director Brown came in late, I noticed. No, I'm just kidding. Well, that was the executive session.
Yeah. Some of us have jobs.
All right, hearing nothing else, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Ace abstain.
We abstain. We
Oh,
were-
you abstain, Cheryl, and Sam abstain?
Why is that?
That's why it was a good meeting. I
Why
knew
is
it.
that?
You guys weren't here. That's why it was so good.
I bet Cheryl and I had more fun,
That's right.
her in Florida and me in Phoenix than you guys had.
right.
That's all I
Okay,
gotta
there
tell you.
we go.
How much does it cost to send you to Phoenix? Because, dude, I'm in. I'm in.
All right, just so we have it, we have 5-0 with Cheryl and Sam abstaining. Next item of business, the president's report. Prior to today's meeting, we met in an executive session. We discussed, we approved minutes from the February 21st executive session and the March 8th executive session. I already warned you that I'm going
You
to hold
did,
you in
you
contempt
did.
of,
It's just like the dinner table. No cell phones at the dinner table, Sam.
so, Anyway, we approved the executive session minutes, we approved some legal invoices, we discussed legal issues, we discussed some contracts, which will be discussed also here in open session and voted upon. And we also, as I indicated from the approval of minutes, we met back on March 8th and discussed legal issues with our council. That's the end of my report. General Manager's report.
The first item is update on the Greens Park. I have been talking to the county, so they are reviewing the plan to issue the permit. So I've had several calls from them wanting clarification on items. And so we do hope that we're ready to break ground on the Greens Park in April still. Any questions?
No, sir.
The next item is a pump track status. With the coming of spring, weeds are taking over the pump track. Staff is seeking the board's direction on the future of the site. We can go ahead and weed it now. If we plan on leveling the site, it probably makes sense to go ahead and do that instead of spending the time removing the weeds. And so we're looking for a direction from the board on what we think we'll be doing with the pump track going forward.
I'll jump. Have we had anybody come to staff with any recommendations or proposals or any interest whatsoever?
I mean, there is an interest from several members of keeping it open, but no way to finance the insurance for it.
If we flatten it, I'm assuming the chain link fence goes away as well.
It could go away, yes.
Okay.
Unless you want to turn it into a dog park, then you keep the fence up.
I'll pretend like you didn't say that last comment.
Did you sod that area? I don't want to see it just left as a mud field.
Yeah, I mean, before it was just a weed patch. I've heard some talk that the Little League might have some interest in it.
Right.
If we were to seed it or to sod it, we do not have that on our projects list yet, though.
If we were to do something else with, besides returning it and leveling it, would we have to go back to the landowner to get permission for an alternate use?
No, I think we've got permission to use the site.
Okay.
Is there a large interest in a dog park in the south?
You know, I really haven't had any inquiries about it. I just know in the past we have talked about putting in a dog park on the south because we have one on the north.
Sam, I've actually had people inquire as to why we don't have a cat park. They think cats' lives matter too.
I think a cat house would be fine.
Fencing,
It's-
fencing that has.
We just want a cat
He's
park,
there.
not a house.
My bad, my
Instead
bad.
of a pump track, we can make it a Segway track. maybe?
Pickleball, more pickleball, I mean, I'm sure the pickleball people would love to have another court.
Well, right now
Yeah, well,
I am in the
I don't know,
process
there's-
right now doing the ones at Stonehouse.
The dog park idea, I'm coming into possession of a chihuahua here pretty soon.
Okay, we said dog, okay? We said dog.
Might see a dog park there.
It is,
That's a possibility.
would you have to just put another fence down the middle or something to separate the large and small dogs?
Yeah, that's probably what I would do, yes. And you've got water there, so you could put some grass seed down and I guess.
Just let them run up and down
And-
the.
Greg, just for context, then the pump track is an insurance. It's a liability, and it's not being used. Is that why?
Yeah, the first year we had fairly decent usage on it. It was running about $7,000, $8,000 a year for the separate liability policy for it. And then years 2 and 3, we saw a pretty dramatic drop off in the use of it. And so the board determined that the money we were spending wasn't worth the usage that this park was getting.
Again, I think any level ground, sports groups are looking for it. So, and the prior boards have tried to make the pump track be successful. But at the end of the day, I just don't think there's the volume of users for it. And I concur with the general manager that if we're gonna put any effort into it, and originally when we talked about this, when the pump track was built, should interest not be there, they were actually gonna be the ones, because it was all volunteer to put it up, it was gonna be volunteer to take it down. I wouldn't necessarily ask them to do it. I would, if we give direction to staff, then they will do it. Chain link fence comes down, and then if we want to go on with the dog park and those things, then obviously we can still use part of the chain link fence, et cetera, and kind of do those things. But at the end of the day, if we're not gonna use the pump track, then we remove the liability from us and move on.
What's the approximate size of it, acreage wise?
It's probably a quarter to half an acre.
I'd say a third, yeah, right in
Yeah.
A little over a third? Or,
there. Right at a third of an acre.
I would like to have the idea of a dog park explored. I mean, if they're having to bring their animals all the way over to Stonehouse, it'd kind of be nice to have one in the south, and I assume there's as many dogs there as there are in the north in a sense. So it seems like a more useful idea for all concerned.
Okay, so I guess in the short term, go ahead and take the humps out and flatten it, and then come back with a recommendation for either sports fields or a dog park.
And I don't
Yeah.
know if you do a survey, if the dogs fill it out or if the owners. So we'll have to figure that out.
We'll have the cats fill it out.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
How much does it, I mean, if we were flatten and remove the fence and then decide to put the fence, but we put the same fence back up then for the dog park?
Well, right now, I'm just gonna flatten it and leave the fence up.
Okay,
Yeah. We don't wanna take it up and, no.
all right, sounds good to me.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is the MTI landscape maintenance. In 2016, the board revisited the MTI townhouse maintenance policy. I've attached a draft letter outlining the results of the review of that policy. This letter would be sent to the townhouse owners, informing them that the policy has not changed, but encourage them to submit a landscape license application if they wish to have more control over the areas adjacent to their units. So this is just kind of closing off what we discussed in 2016, finalizing the matter and let the MTI know what we decided, which is basically to keep the policy the way it is. And so I'm looking for a motion to go ahead and send that letter out to the townhouse owners.
All right, do we have somebody to move to send it out?
also move that we send a letter out to MTI regarding the landscape maintenance.
I'll second it.
All right. Any other discussion on it?
Yeah, I'd like to discuss it briefly. I think as kind of the original proposal that we were working with last year, that kind of brought this to a head, there was a suggestion that as a board, we look at ways to give the townhouse owners more of an incentive to take over their own landscaping. And one thing that Greg has rolled into this memo is the idea that we, as long as they use drought-resistant plants, that we waive the $100 fee. There's also a cost to the homeowner, to the townhouse owner, to convert to their own drip system. And I think that should be encouraged by the board sometime down the road, and figure out a way that we can help encourage the townhouse owner to do that. I'm in favor of the memo the way it is, but I think we need to expand on that as time goes on.
All right, anything?
Would you, are you saying maybe if they're gonna put in all the drip systems, we could, give them credit for the amount spent for the drip system
Yeah,
against the $100?
Well, no, I think that the $100 is, we've already said we're going to waive that if they use drought-resistant plants.
But if they didn't, I'm just saying,
Sure, or we could, I mean, I don't think, in most cases, the cost for converting to their own drip system is particularly expensive, and I think there's ways that we can figure out a way to accommodate that and to help them out with those fees too, I think.
Do we waive the landscape fee now for I guess non-townhome lots if they do drought tolerance? So it would just be applying that same policy to.
Right.
All right, anything else? We have a motion and a second to approve the letter. So hearing no other discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Next item looks like, Greg, a community directory?
The association contracts with association outsourced services to provide the community directory, which is distributed free to residents and members. AOS actually sells the advertising and does the design work and works with each advertiser and performs all the collection activity, pays for all the costs of printing and delivery to the residents, and then any revenue that's generated is split 50-50 between the vendor and RMA. So this contract is for a one-year contract for the 2017-18 directory, and then it's got 2 one-year renewal periods in the contract. So, and the Finance Committee has reviewed it and recommends approval.
Do you have a motion to approve the directory contract?
I so move.
So move. I'll second.
All right, got a motion and a second? Any other discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor of approving the directory contract, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Next item, is that the end of your report, I guess, Greg?
Report, yes.
All right. Next item, I guess, Finance Committee. Cheryl.
Okay, the Finance Committee met on March 16th of 2017, and all members were present of the committee. And the first rule of order was that we approved the minutes from the October 13th, 2016 meeting. And then we had various things that we needed to look at for approval. So we did approve the purchase of a Walker mower, which would be a replacement of the Walker mower which we have now for the lowest bid taken with Valley Truck and Tractor Company for $13,624.67. We also approved the 4 new John Deere HPX Gators with the lowest bid once again coming from Valley Truck and Tractor Company for $40,459.55. They will replace the 3 aging ATVs that we have and 2 Polaris Rangers. So, we also approved the fireworks contract for the 4th of July, which is going to be with Pyro Spectaculars for $13,000. What else did we approve? We had the community directory contract, which the board just approved, was also discussed and approved by the Finance Committee. And we reviewed the financial statements for 2016 and the financial statements for February 2017. So we had a very active meeting, and we adjourned at 4:43.
Oh, there you go. Precise. Yeah, and those contracts, most of those contracts will come up later in the board meeting for approval tonight.
And we do need a motion to accept the financials,
Oh, do we?
reviewed financial statements for 2016.
So do you have a motion on that, Cheryl, to approve?
Oh, okay. I need a motion to accept the financial statements for 2016.
Well, I'll make it your motion to approve that.
I make a motion.
And then we'll consider it that's your motion, and do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and second to approve the financials. Any discussion on it?
Yeah, this is the same CPA firm we've been using, right?
For the last 2 years.
Yeah, okay. That's all I have.
All right, anything else? All right, all in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes unanimously. Anything else, Cheryl?
That is it.
All right, architectural review, Sam.
The Architectural Review Committee met on March 16th. We had driveway parking variances, approved minutes, and we reviewed and approved the common area lease. We reviewed at length a request to put in a 250-gallon underground propane tank. And that was approved based on the fact that they'd have an arborist come and make sure it wasn't going to harm or kill the redwood trees that were nearby. I have a motion for 4 common area leases that or a change of ownership. So my motion would be to approve the common area lease due to change of ownership on lot number 277, lot 700A, lot 855T, and lot 2012T. All of these are a change of ownership, and all the required fees have been paid through escrow.
All right, I have a motion to approve the common area leases due to change of ownership on the property so indicated. Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion on these common area leases? All right, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
And I have a common area lease for, let me dig it out here.
Looks like lot 835.
I'll get there in a minute. Yes, it's common area lease for lot 835. This is a new lease that's been ongoing for, well, several years now. We've been having discussions with this owner. It finally got to the point that he's now requesting the common area lease. Committee found that this meets the conditions set forth in the language of Civil Code 1363.07, bracket A, 3, bracket capital E, which states to transfer the burden of management and maintenance to the person and out of our area of maintenance. And so that's my motion to approve this common area lease for lot 835.
All right, we have a motion to approve the common area lease for 835. Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion? I have some questions and concerns. I noticed there are a couple of objectors to it, mostly, including one former board member. I guess the overarching theme of their objection seemed to be that there was work being done out there without prior approval.
He did a lot of work without prior approval, and that was part of the issues that has been an issue for last at least 3 years. And he finally had a lot of time out of town. There's another place down in Southern Cal or something. And so there's stuff done here, and then he'd leave for a month or 2 or 6 and then come back. And we had a lot of interaction. There was some neighbor issues between neighbors on what was going on. And finally, he cleaned it up where it only involved his property, an area where he wanted a common area lease. And so hopefully this is going to resolve the issue.
Are when you say hopefully, I guess, does he, if this is approved, does that puts him in compliance with everything out there? Or does he still have other non-compliant items?
It'll put him in compliance for the time being. I'm not going to guarantee that. Some people have a issue that they think if they have access to this property and it's right there, that they can kind of do whatever they feel they want to do. And he did that for a couple of years until there were some neighbor problems, and that was brought to our attention, so then we got involved in it.
All right. Are the people, or if you don't know, Sam, or maybe Mark knows, are the people that objected, are they satisfied now or not satisfied? You can come up if you want to discuss them.
Good evening. My name is Sherry McFarland. My name is Sherry McFarland. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I'm at lot 837. And this has been ongoing since July of 2011. So it's 6 years. And he hasn't really, the going out of town part is pretty recent. I would say that was just within the last 2 years. Most of the work started a long, long time ago. And it was my understanding that this was going to be conditionally approved, that there were still some remaining issues. I'm very nervous. Sorry. There were still some remaining issues that are not okay. One is the fence, the wire fencing, and that's not okay with us, nor is the way that when the encroachment was taken out and then set back to where it should be, that has not. It's not very professional. It was my understanding that was going to be fixed and look more presentable.
Mark, are you aware of the,
If you read the resolution, it states very clearly what is required. Please, everyone, read the rest of the resolution. We have 45 days to complete some things that need to be finished and work. Everything has to be completed in order for the lease to be approved.
And if it's not completed in 45 days, then the lease, I mean, if we approve the lease today, we'd have to do it with the condition.
We're verbally approving it, he has to complete the work, he has to pay his fees and fines, and until those things are taken care of, we're not going to sign or release the lease.
So this is conditionally approving.
That is correct.
Would that satisfy you?
And does that address, Mark, the concerns?
All the items that were supposed to be taken care of are clearly identified in the resolution.
Well, and thank you for telling me that. Let me ask the question again, Mark. Does it address,
Yes, it addresses those items.
thank you.
I'm not privy of any other things. I mean, those were there were many things that were not okay.
Sure, yeah, and I'm looking, and I know you're not privy to what we have here.
Fencing. It does say the fencing.
There's
The
a
fence,
lot of items.
right, so, and does it mention the retaining wall area,
Yes, it
in
does.
that corner?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in
Okay.
there.
I'm not a mind reader,
Restack and
so
finish
I
the
don't know.
retaining wall. It says restack and finish it.
Very good.
And that's why I asked Mark, because he's the one that's gonna know. And so for your concerns, if he has it written in here and it's addressed, then that'll satisfy myself and I'm sure a lot of the board members. And then you understand how we're conditionally doing it, correct?
That there's a time frame now within 45 days that
It shall be
needs-
done.
It shall be done.
Right.
And if it's not,
Then we go a whole different process.
okay.
And he doesn't get his lease, so.
Correct.
he won't get the lease.
And we have a date on here of
May the
45 days or by May 15th. So if you see it's not done, I'd recommend you come back to the board meeting.
Oh, you'll hear.
I have a feeling
Thank
Mark's
you.
heard from you
Thank
quite
you.
a bit, I'm sure. All right, thank you. Any other comments on that? I think, is that your motion, Sam? I think maybe,
Yes,
just to be copacetic here, amended to motion subject to the conditions for approval? Because we had the motion was just to approve the common area lease, so.
yeah, once we approve it, I don't think there's a difference in conditional approval because Mark is handling this, and if it's not done, we don't sign the paperwork to send it forward to have it approved. No,
I know, but my concern is more, I guess, a legal
I'll change
nature. If we approve it as stated, he could come back somehow and say, you guys approved it. Now you're
Okay,
not signing off
I'll
on it."
restate the motion, recommend the motion be approved conditionally on him complying with the requirements.
And I had seconded.
Okay, so with that motion, any other comments? Questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor of the motion as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. No opposition. My no was not a no, it was just pointing out that there was no no's. All right, anything else, Sam?
That's the end of my report.
Okay, and I understand Sue Frost has arrived, so I know she was busy supervisor. So what we'll do is take a time out here. Do we need to take a break or something so you can set up, or you just want to?
I can say a couple words, I don't know how much time I have.
You can take as much time as you need. Come on up to the podium and
Have an hour if you want to.
So we'll give you about 2, okay?
we give you 3 minutes
How are
and
you?
we count down. No.
I'm so sorry I'm late.
No, we'll be late to your meeting. You'll see how it feels. No, we'll show you.
I've been in a board of directors meeting this afternoon, and I found out early on when I got elected to the board of supervisors that their meetings go from 9:30 in the morning till 6:30 or later at night. So it's a long day, and I was hoping I could get here sooner. I really appreciate having the opportunity to introduce myself and say hi to the Rancho Murieta community. And
We brought the Boy Scouts for you tonight.
you brought the Boy Scouts. That's really great. That's really great. I'm so excited. I haven't had an opportunity to connect with your community yet. There's not a whole lot of community meetings going on. So if there's things that you guys know of that I can do to support you, or times when I can come out and just be available, I want to be a part of your community if I can.
Bring money.
Bring money. I can do that too. I do have some resources. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Sue Frost, and I was just recently elected to county supervisor when Supervisor McGlashan retired. It was a long journey to election day, and I'm very honored to represent all of you. Since I got elected in late November, when I knew I was probably going to be the one that won, I have taken some time to meet with all the departments in the county. The county has something like 32 or 35 different departments, and so I've been meeting with all the department heads to kind of get an idea of what are their challenges, what kind of things might they be bringing to budget discussions, how can I help them? And so the very first thing I did was establish, my staff and hire a chief of staff. And so Matt Hedges is my chief of staff, and I'm sorry he couldn't be here tonight. He's somewhere else speaking in one of the other neighborhoods in the district. But Matt is very well qualified. He has a degree in government from our local college, Sac State. And he comes from the state capitol, where he was the policy director for the minority leader there. He's served on numerous local boards and chaired some of them, and he's a community volunteer, so he cares about local government and local people, which is important to me. Since we kind of established our office, we're making a few changes to the functions. We want to be able to deliver service, excellent service and responsive service to our constituents. We're sending out regular newsletters, and if you want to sign up for the newsletter, you can go to saccounty.net and just follow to the Board of Supervisors, click on Sue Frost, and at the top of my little welcome letter, you'll see some links, and one of those is to sign up for the newsletter and reminders about community meetings. We are making some small changes to the community meetings. We're not having them quite as often. I learned during my campaign that following Roberta around, that in a lot of those community meetings there might be 2 to 5 people who come. And what we did is right out of the chute, we did sent out a survey. You can also find that survey at the website at saccounty.net. That's an opportunity for you to tell me how I can better serve you and represent you. It was amazing when we sent that survey out. We were kind of sensitive to each of the areas. I look at my district as, we have 2 incorporated cities, but then we have 5 unincorporated areas, and I treat each of those unincorporated areas like they're a city, because each one of them has their own personality, their own goals, their own challenges. So my district goes from Rio Linda, Antelope, Alberta, Citrus Heights, Orangevale, Folsom, Rancho Murieta, Gold River. Rancho Murieta responded, all the areas responded, and one of these days soon, when we get a chance to come back and speak with you, we can give you some detailed feedback on what we heard from those surveys. I can tell you that without a doubt, the #1 priority in District 4 is public safety. We had over 2,500 people respond to our survey, and public safety is the #1 priority. I'm thinking, now today we spent a lot of time on homelessness, but homelessness is probably 3rd or 4th. It's public safety and transportation infrastructure. That's the 2 top priorities. I don't think I have time to take questions, but I will hang around, and if you want to visit with me afterwards, I will be available, and I'll also put some business cards out on the table there in case you need to contact me. And if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them or not, if there's not time. Thank you so much for letting me.
It's tough, but as you know, from a board meeting,
Yeah, I know. You're
kind of
guys
stuck
are
on your
working.
agenda and
You're
doing other
working,
things,
yes.
But we should be done in about 15 minutes or so, probably.
I appreciate the opportunity to introduce myself.
Hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
All right, thanks, Sue. And let me add, since the Boy Scouts are here, I know Supervisor Natoli was a great supporter of our Boy Scout troop, so I hope you will be too as we go forward. So that's my plug for the Boy Scouts. So, all right, back to our agenda. What do we got next up here? Communications Committee, Cheryl.
The Communications Committee is actually meeting tomorrow at 4 o'clock, so that'll be our first meeting of the new year. And so we have a few things that we're going to talk with them about, but we wanted you to see the first edition of the community update that we're going to be producing maybe 4 times a year for Rancho Murieta. So we wanted to give you a chance to look at that, and staff has put this together, and I think they did a great job with it.
Well, it's good. My understanding is this, you're not going to mail it out. It's just going to be on the, rm.com and then
Do an email distribution to RMA members that have emails on file, and also put it on rm.com.
And if you are a RMA member and don't have your email on file, we have a website that you can go to and log into and set up an account, put your email there, and then you'll receive emails from the association.
So I think that's something that I'm very interested in, and seeing if we can get more of our RMA members to share their email address so that they can be reached, if anything, for just in case of an emergency. I think we need to have some other ways to meet that need, so we're going to be looking at that over the year.
Do you have a mechanism for input into this newsletter by the?
Yeah, we would like to get input from the various committees, if they have information they'd like to, kind of another way of communicating some of that. So I took it upon myself to do the little section on trivia with the compliance committee by putting in what the 3 big compliance issues are, and seem to be just about every month. Let's see if the audience knows what that would be, Mr. Maybe.
I mention every time, it's stop signs and speeding. Those are 1 and 2.
Right.
And trash cans.
Yeah.
The top 3 areas that people receive warnings or whatever in compliance is running stop signs, speeding, and leaving the trash cans out past 24 hours. In the month of January, we had 54 people that went through stop signs, 32 people that were speeding, and 22 people that left their trash cans out.
And that was the ones that were caught.
Hey, that might sound like a good scout project, is to build awareness on that, huh?
Yeah.
So I just think that we just need people to slow down and stop at the stop signs and bring in their trash cans. So anyways, that's what it looks like, and we just want to have a different, a little bit more communication with the community.
All right, thanks. Anything else from you? And then I think we have Brandon. Is Brandon back there? What did you say?
We put a plug in for you, Brandon.
Well, as you guys are starting to know, my name is Brandon with Greenfield Communications. Always happy to be here and tell you our progress. As of Monday last week, we were able to pull the rest of our cables off the top of the street, so we no longer have any temporary cables on the streets here in Rancho Murieta. We're filling in roughly 15 to 20 locations a day, and that's all we're doing between now and so between now and their next meeting, we're either going to be completely done with our cleanup or just close to being done. But that's where we're at. So, and then we had some pixelation issues about a week ago on a certain section of our channels. We had a card that failed in one of our. It's called the Smart Box. It's just part of our head. So we replaced that to fix that issue. And so anybody who was having pixelation issues on their basic cable should have fixed it.
Do you run channel 3 into any other channel, since you're not being able to get it through
Channel 3
DirecTV?
is it on KCRA?
KCRA, yeah.
No, KCRA right now is having an issue with Dish Network and their programming. Now we're required to broadcast it through Dish Network with our contract with them. I mean, the only way we could do it would be to pay for that channel specifically and then try to somehow insert it. However, I think we were paying $2 a month specifically for that channel if we were to bring it from an outside vendor. And then tomorrow, if Dish were to bring it back, then everybody would be stuck with a rate hike. So we're trying to wait it out.
Yeah, and I could appreciate that. And I know back, what was it, last summer when Fox, I think, Channel 40 was off the air, we were able to work around that because we still had the contract through the co-op for the old basic system,
Correct.
and you were able to patch it in that way, but that no longer exists.
Yeah, that's correct. One of the things, though, is since it's a local network, they usually don't, I'm surprised it's still off because they actually get paid a certain amount from anyone who uses Dish Network. Now, a local is only allowed to broadcast within a certain range of Sacramento, so they cannot broadcast into San Francisco, they cannot broadcast down towards Fresno. They're limited to their range. Now, if they don't have the viewership from us and Dish Network subscribers in general, they have to, they actually collect less revenue from their commercials, yet they still have to pay the weather lady the same amount of money, so they usually negotiate something, and like I said, I'm surprised they're still off, but it's
I've learned to like Channel 40 a lot.
There you go. Well, and I have the upgraded Dish package, not just the basic, and it's off on that because it's a Dish that's on everything.
off,
So it's not like a Greenfield problem, it's a Dish issue. So.
Yeah, correct, and then
And this always happened.
yeah, it's just contract negotiation, and usually they do it at a more pertinent time. I remember Fox did it 1 week before it was the World Series, and they're the only ones who broadcast it. You know, they said, we'll leave it off during that time. So,
and it wasn't unique to Dish or you either when we ran the system, and we'd have channels out because they would negotiate with whoever we were.
Correct.
Our vendor was for that channel.
Yeah, and then we'll be discussing with the communications meeting a possible change in our channel lineup to add certain channels that people have expressed that they do want, and we'll talking about that and possibly bringing it up in the next meeting or the following one. So.
All right, great.
Be able to make tomorrow's meeting?
Yeah.
Great.
It's 4 o'clock.
Yeah, good. Glad to see you there.
Brandon, I appreciate how during this wet winter service, at least at my humble abode, has been able to be consistent. And the one time there was service disruption, you guys got right on that. But I do want to say that I spoke to somebody over the weekend who did have some problems with service, and also with some wires that were exposed on their property. I'm sure that you guys respond to those quickly, so I just want to let you know that
Yes,
was speaking to you on that person's behalf today.
So I got an email this morning about a cable in the south, and we had a guy over there within 15 minutes, since we shouldn't have anything over there. It was a simple lid was off of a pedestal. Now, in the north, what we're doing is we're actually putting most of our new volts are flush mount, which means you can run your lawnmower right over the top of them, and work around them, and so it's more aesthetically pleasing to the community. And one of the reasons that a lot of the locations have not been filled in is because we had to remove the original cable system, which actually stands roughly 12 inches, above the ground. So by cutting that out, we're allowed to put our new cable system below ground with flush mount lid, and then restore your landscaping. So, and I have roughly 12 guys. That's all they're doing all day long. So, just driving around filling holes.
Is the plan eventually to do that on the south? Go back and do that on the south?
Yeah, actually, there is on the south. So we were using above ground pedestals in the south is what we started using. We've actually been going down there and around here in the north and removing some of the stand-up ones. I can't put everything underground due to the fact that there's other utilities that are currently like using the same space, or roots, other things like that, where we actually have to use an above ground mount. Redwood trees are notorious. If there's a redwood tree, everything is out of the ground because the roots are notorious for crushing the utilities. But yeah, so we have removed I think 35 of them from the north, and about eight or nine from the south so far. But yep, we have our eyes on certain ones, and as soon as we need them, we know where they're at. So.
Now that you're done, did you have to cut off anybody or did everybody finally respond?
I still have 2 people who have wanted to make an appointment and have not been able to come home on time, so they've been shut down since Monday. I mean, their account's essentially on hold, but when they want to use their internet, they'll go back up. And we're getting roughly 2 people a day from. We had have actually a promotion going on, so anybody who has AT&T or Zeta broadband, they can use us for free for 30 days. Don't cancel your AT&T, you just run them side by side, and if Greenfield's something that you like the faster speed, you like the video, then at least you have experienced it before you use it. So. And
that's for the internet or just the broadband?
Video and internet, just not the phone, because the phone there's a lot of like we have to we have to take your number from AT&T. You'd have to cancel AT&T to switch your phone service. So,
right. Yeah.
But yeah, with the internet, basically, I mean, our slowest speed is 4 times faster than theirs, and so it's a lot of people enjoy the speeds, and that's, like I said, just a promotion. We have about 2 people a day to take us up on it. So that's where we're going right now.
All right, great.
That's a good one.
Thank you. And on the phone issue, just because I've had the phone for quite a while, but people, if they don't know that you can keep your phone number,
you can keep your phone number, and a lot of people have AT&T for their internet because they have old SBC or AT&T emails. You can also keep your AT&T email even if you do not have AT&T. So your house phone number will stay the same, your email will stay the same. The only thing you will notice is that your internet is faster, and you don't have the quote-unquote circle of death on your computer screen when you're trying to download something. So that's,
there you go.
So,
great.
All right, I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, thanks,
Thank you.
Brandon. Anything else, Cheryl, from communications?
That's all I have, great.
All right, compliance.
Thank you, Mr. President. Met on March 6th. You'll see the consent to fine on several members speeding. Stop sign, again, is the big one. If you look at the summary, again, it is speeding, stop signs, and then trash cans. If you'd look, I'd like to have some input specifically when you're going out of the north gate. It's not until you come to the stop sign at Lago does it mention anywhere that incoming traffic doesn't stop. And I think we need more signage similar to what we have at the intersection of Lago here and Murieta Parkway that says oncoming traffic doesn't stop. So same theory, just more notice, especially if you're in the #1 outbound lane. So that's kind of what this recommendation is. So with that, if you have any thoughts, questions, otherwise we're gonna kind of move forward using similar language, similar sign, et cetera, et cetera.
No, I think that's a great idea, because I don't know, I've kind of run into that issue myself.
Well,
when
again,
I'm-
because the gate arm goes up, so what I do is I wave them in, then I move forward, then they stop, and then I wave them again, just to have the gate arm come
Exactly.
down on them. But, okay. I would like to make a recommendation. I'd like to recommend Jim Moore be appointed to the Compliance Committee as a alternate. As you're aware, Jim was a prior board member, board president, and he has filled in on this committee in the past. And just the number of folks that we have, I'd like to have another alternate member.
So that's a motion to approve Jim Moore as an
Yes.
alternate member? Do we have a
I'll second
for
that.
that? Do you second that, Sam?
Second, yeah.
Okay. Motion and second to approve Jim Moore. Questionable character that he is.
Well, he was legitimately elected as president, Mr. President, so I'm just saying. I'm not saying.
Yeah, but
How
it was
many-
a goofy board that did it.
Well, that's true.
How many board members do you have? Or committee members, I'm sorry, do you have?
Several.
Looks like you got 5.
Yes. Thank you.
This is so Tim can take off and Jim can just chair the meeting from here on out. I think that's the.
I'm gonna have my vacation request into you next meeting. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I've got an alternate who came off the committee last year. And so far, I've had to use alternates a couple times just this year already. So having one more and just kind of having that consistency is my thought process.
Good idea.
Unless one of you would like to. That's what I thought. So I think Jim would be a good pick.
All right, we have a motion and second to appoint the President Emeritus Jim Moore as an alternate to the Compliance Committee. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, passes unanimously.
Thank you.
That's the end of your report,
Are
then?
you, you're not gonna make a motion about these signs?
Well, do we want a motion or we're just gonna move forward? I don't need direction unless somebody is objecting. We're just gonna move forward at staff level and make it happen.
Yeah, I would think that's
Okay,
appropriate.
yeah, perfect.
I would recommend you make the same, not this
Yeah.
sign, but the shape of the other one, the triangle.
Yep.
All right, governing docs. We didn't meet this month, but there was some action. Do you want to talk about that, Denise, or you want me to talk about it? Dang, I tried. How do you do it, Tim? All right, we didn't meet. As people may recall, at the February board meeting, the board directed Larry's proposal to allow certain electrical vehicles sent it over to governing documents to determine if it required a CC&R amendment or it could be a rule change. We sent it out to our legal counsel for his opinion, and after reviewing that opinion, we decided that it was best not to proceed in that fashion, and talking to Larry again and stuff, we kind of decided to, I guess he's agreed to limit it to electrical bicycles and segways and that sort of thing. And when Compliance Committee is already fashioning a rule for segways, which we had actually approved a year and a half, 2 years ago, maybe even longer than that, but no rule was ever formulated, so they're working on that. And so I guess my recommendation is to send the proposed electric bike rule language, any other electrical vehicles to compliance, so they can fashion a rule on that, then bring it back to the board, and then we can go to governing docs and do it that way. Do we need to formally do that then, or just tell them to?
Yeah, I don't think.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's my motion, I guess, is to send the electrical bike proposed rule to compliance for further study and rule drafting.
Second.
All right. Anything else?
The comments that I would suggest is that, in the original document, we talked about limiting the wattage to 750 watts. I think it should probably read electrical assisted bicycles.
It should be electronic personal adaptive mobility devices, somewhere along there.
And that's
Yeah,
actually,
well, that's why we're sending it to committee and let them work out the language.
Be something like that.
And thread the needle between what the CCNRs allow
Right.
and what the motor vehicle code defines and.
But yeah, we're taking that in.
Okay, so, all right, we have a motion and second to formally send it to the compliance committee. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. And that's the end of the governing docs committee report. Maintenance committee.
we met on March 6th, and I won't bore you with a lot of our details because Cheryl has already pointed out that the Finance Committee has approved the purchases of the equipment for Rod to continue his operations appropriately, so I would like the board to approve the purchase of 4 John Deere tractors at a total cost of $40,459.55 for the 4 tractors.
Those are Gators.
Gators, yes.
And the Gators. So I have a motion to approve that, the 4 Gators for $40,459.55.
I make the motion.
All right, do we have a second on that?
Second.
Okay. This would be purchased from Valley Truck and Tractor, it looks like.
And it comes out of regular funding.
All right, anything else? All those in favor of purchasing the 4 Gators at that price?
I'm sorry, regular funding, you mean out of reserves?
Reserve,
Okay.
yeah.
Reserve funding, yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
All in favor of purchasing the 4 Gators, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Rod, did you decide that this Walker mower replacement did not require approval?
No, it's the pressure.
It's a pressure, okay. So we need to also approve the Walker mower from Valley Truck for $13,624.67, again, out of reserves.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and second to approve the mower. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Wasn't there one more thing there, Larry?
There actually is not, because it's a purchase item that doesn't need approval.
Okay. That's because it's what, below the threshold that we need to?
Yeah, it's a blower. Portable blower.
I've got 2 comments for Rod, if I can.
Sure.
Rod, I had a unsolicited phone call from somebody from MTI. You were working, and your crew were working with them on some tree trimming, and they said thank you. Crews came out, used your lift. They couldn't be more ecstatic, so I appreciate that. And then the other is with the dog park closing for a couple of days. No relation to Jim Moore using it as an ashtray with his cigars. Is that has nothing to do with what we have to do? Okay. Thank you, Rod.
That was the pest control.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
And you put them on compliance?
And those of you who are not aware, please note the new fountains at Laguna Joaquin here, and hopefully the lights are on. We have had.
What is it, one guy with the flashlight out there? Who takes that shift?
Rod's sitting in here tonight, so.
So who has the flashlight?
That's the new guy.
We originally purchased 4 or 5 pumps. One of them is being delayed from our inability to get SMUD and the coordination of dropping a power line where we need the line to make that one work. So it's void of being installed. The other 4 are installed, however, one of them is up and down based on some amperage probably that Rod needs to work on. So you may only see 3 operational, but what you will see is a huge difference in the quality of the lake, the appearance of the spray that the fountains are putting out, and their ability to work the way we need them to work for the life of the lake. In addition to that, for Rod and his maintenance crew, they are 0 maintenance, at least when we get them running. But the old pumps, it was a single pump that pumped water to a valve, and the valve had to be cleaned regularly. These will not ever have to be cleaned. They're just open pumps that just put air in the water and do everything they're supposed to do. Anyway, I hope you all enjoy them because they're a huge improvement, and Rod should be complimented and his crew for getting those working so far that he has.
Thank you, Rod.
So we're not going to hear about midge flies in 2017? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I won't guarantee. I won't use the word midge fly again. Sorry, but I could, if you promise to leave the board soon, curtail my discussion for a while.
What do we have to do? Do we need to go back in closed session?
We only have, what, 6 months left or something anyway, so. All right, anything else, Larry?
That's it.
That's it, all
Maintenance
right,
committee.
your report,
Yep.
Parks Committee, what, Cheryl or Rod, anything?
We have not met,
All right,
so to be continued.
to be continued. Alex, Recreation Committee.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, and thank you all for coming out tonight. The Recreation Committee did meet in February and approved fireworks for the contract for the 4th of July fireworks. That had to go to the Finance Committee, which has approved it and sent it back to the full board. So I move that the board approve the contract for $13,000 with Pyro Spectaculars to provide fireworks for the 2017 4th of July celebration.
All right, we have a motion to approve the fireworks. Do you have a
Second.
Any other discussion? I noticed it's the same company we've used for several years. Same price as last year, too, I noticed.
Yeah, they're pretty good to us, actually.
They do a good job, so. Was there any issue with using the dock this last year, or they got that all worked out now?
We're gonna get that all worked out.
Do we need to add in the fire?
No, that's statutory, we have to pay it.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of retirements that have to be paid.
Wow. That's kind of awkward now, isn't it?
All right, well, we have a motion and second to approve the fireworks contract. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. Anything else?
That concludes the report from the Recreation Committee.
Does Denise have some announcements?
I withdraw that.
Challenged up here. The first bingo for this year is going to be March 31st, which is Friday night at 6 o'clock. Call the office to reserve a spot, and it's filling up fast, so you might want to do it soon.
And that's going to be right in this building?
Yes. Okay. I think you're calling, right?
I'm calling numbers.
You're calling numbers? Oh, I don't know.
Boy, I never got to.
Well, you never gave a report either, so.
Wow. I think for the young gentleman in the audience, this is not typical of the harassment that comes my way.
It's far less tonight than usual.
And then we've also got the Giants versus the New York Mets bus trip on Sunday, June 25th. The cost of that is $79, and that includes the bus ride over and the ticket. And then we've got another bus going on August 9th, which is the Giants versus the Chicago Cubs. So.
my nephew's favorite team, the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, we got tired of beating the
Are you taking
Dodgers.
signups for that right now?
Yes, we are.
All right, anything else? Nothing else? Okay, next board meeting is April 18th, at 6:30 PM here in the RMA building. We are adjourned. I need my gavel back.